University for Game 2 of our doubleheader here tonight as the Piedmont International Bruins play host the Carolina Christian College Centurions. It's the Twin City Classic here, round 2 here in Winston-Salem. Corey Glore and Dave Shook back with you here as Piedmont International coming off a comfortable win over Appalachian Bible College, 78-41 their last time out, ready to get some revenge here against the Centurions when these two met in northern Winston-Salem back at the end of January. Oh my, what a contest that was. A lot of heated exchanges, technical fouls, a questionable decision at the end of the game led to a 77-75 defeat at the hands of the Centurions. And round 2 promises to be just as fiery and exciting. We'll have the starting lineups in the opening tap coming up here in just a moment, but first let's pause for tonight's national anthem and opening prayer.
Let's pray. Father God, we come before you and take a pause on this busy day to thank you for your grace, to thank you for your love, to thank you for your Son on the cross. Lord, we thank you for your gift of mercy. We also thank you for this game of basketball. Pray for good sportsmanship, that your name would be glorified in all things. In your name, amen.
A house that's getting fuller and fuller here in Winston-Salem as the Twin City Classic round 2 is just about set to go here from PIU. Corey Glore and Dave Shook back with you here courtside. And Dave, when these two met at the end of January, batting down the hatches, that thing was a bit of a brawl, and we're expecting a same fiery type atmosphere here tonight.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it was an absolute barn burner that ended in very controversial fashion. Also one that featured a lot of physicality and bad blood that kind of boiled over as that game moved along. And as a result, the sort of manufactured almost rivalry that was born this season because of the fact that Carolina Christian is playing in their first year as a varsity basketball program now actually has some real legs to it. And the Twin Cities Classic now, as it's been dubbed, actually has a little bit of meaning as we come into part 2 of this season's matchup between these two teams, and the Bruins with bigger things on their mind certainly as well. When you start talking about regionals and postseason, need to finish above 500 in order to be able to do that, and a good way to get to that point would be a win here tonight.
Both of these teams are 2 games over 500. Tonight's starting lineups are sponsored by Smoothie King of Winston-Salem. For PIU, 11-9 on this season. They have a 3-guard lineup led by the sophomore guard Tamir Glenn out of right here in Winston-Salem. He'll be joined by his fellow city compatriot Colton Bishop, the junior who went to Forsyth Country Day. They're joined the backcourt by Nash Carter, the senior out of Providence, Rhode Island, Ashbrook. Down low, 2 forwards, Marcus Ingram out of right here in Winston-Salem. The sophomore sitting 6'4", $185 on the digits. He'll be joined by the junior Troy Mix out of New Orleans, Louisiana, the tallest man on this team at 6'8", 215. Just 7 on the roster for Carolina Christian. It does not matter. They're all huge. And the 3-guard lineup starts off this way. Jonathan Cunningham, the freshman from right here in Winston-Salem, 6 foot nothing That's the shortest guy in this roster. He's joined on the wing by Artavius Love, the sophomore out of Atlanta. Austin Robinson, the freshman guard, rounds out the backcourt. And up front, it is number 0, freshman Gerard Johnson out of Norfolk, Virginia, and 6'6", Jalen Grace, the sophomore out of Atlanta. Piedmont wearing the home white uniforms, powder blue numerals and lettering, black trim around those. Black road uniforms for CCC with white numerals and lettering, yellow trim around those. It'll be Ingram and Love to tip things off here in Winston-Salem as a jump start and a false start from both. Now we're ready to go, and the tap's still up for grabs. It's one in the front court by Piedmont, going right to the bucket. Colton Bishop lays it up and in. And quick 2-0 start here for PIU. The tap went right to the front court, and Bishop streaked to the ball and right to the cup. 2-0 Piedmont leads as Artavius Love drives to the paint, puts up the tough runner, no good, high off the glass, and Bishop pulls it down for Piedmont. Here they come on the break. Glenn down the left wing tries to weave in a bounce pass to the baseline, looking for Carter. It's out of bounds, and it skips off the baseline.
One thing we've noticed throughout the season is that this Bruins team always has looked very big on the court against some of the opposition that they've seen this year. This is one of the few times where you can say physically this team looks like the much smaller group out there. For only having 7 players, this Carolina Christian team is very, very big and very athletic.
Austin Robinson, the freshman, pulls up from the top of the arc and rolls it in. That's a 2-pointer, foot on the line to tie the game at 2, 40 seconds in. 77-75 was the final back on January 30th on the north side of Winston. And a strange finish to that one. Elbow Troy Mix goes baseline looking for Ingram, rolls to the paint, puts it up off the glass, no good, and it falls off the rim and pulled down by the Centurions. Artavius Love, the sophomore out of Atlanta, being hand-checked by Bishop, and a foul's going to be whistled on Colton. The junior out of right here in Winston gets the first foul for either side, 1:03 into this first half. 2-all here early on in this contest.
Now the women's team, as opposed to the women's team, the men's team has a little bit more depth to be able to weather foul trouble, but there are a couple of players that the Bruins really can't do without.
Robinson picks and pops from 12 off the glass, no, and here comes Glenn.
And one of those players is Bishop, who cannot get into foul trouble tonight.
Bishop, top of the key, as the only bucket so far for Piedmont, tied at 2. Bishop steps into a deep 3 right side, no good. Rebound put back up and in. Marcus Ingram there to clean it up, and it's 4-2 Bruins. Colton Bishop says, give me some noise. Student section right in front of us here as we sit right at the midcourt stripe. To the left side, Robinson stops at the elbow, twists around, picks up his dribble, has to go to the top for Grace, who is a large human at 6'6", 235. They'll hand it off to Artavius Love. Gets a screen up high, 10 on the shot clock. Deep 3, bank shot, no, and the rebound kicks down to Glenn. Glenn will push for Piedmont, leading by 2. Glenn pulls it up, goes up with a shot, and he's bumped and fouled, and they'll head to the free throw line.
Probably a good idea by Glenn. I think making that shot was probably a secondary idea, as he had a much bigger man in front of him, probably was not going to be able to finish over the top of him, and so elected instead to drive into his chest, draw the contact, and try to get himself to the free throw line.
Artavius Love whistled for the first personal of the day for CCC. First one up and good for Glenn. 5-2 Piedmont leads. There are just 7 available players for Carolina Christian in their infancy, their first year as a varsity basketball program for head coach Tony Spates. Just Darius Goolsby and Christian Jones are the other 2 available off the bench. Second one up and rolls around and off as the Bruins cleared the paint, cleared off the block there, gave up the rebound opportunity. 1 for 2 at the line for Glenn. 5-2 Piedmont leads. Into the front court up top for Artavius Love. High left side, wants a screen. He's directing traffic from right in front of the scorer's table. Now he'll make his move around Glenn. Down the lane, he's bumped and fouled. He ran right into Ingram on the low block. And Marcus is going to get whistled for the bump.
You can see already the game plan for the Centurion team is all about trying to get Artavius Love into good positions to score the basketball. Not going to be credited with a shot attempt on that one, though, so they're going to have to take it in from the baseline. But still, very clear the offensive game plan right now for Carolina Christian. Second
on the Bruins, baseline left inbound. Johnson has it left corner, stops the left elbow, and he up-fakes the shot. Now he'll send it back up top for Love. Love with 13 on the timer, goes to the free throw line, shakes off a Bishop and pushes him. It's an offensive foul.
You saw that a little bit earlier when Colton Bishop picked up the foul, and Bishop was kind of trying to get into Love's jersey a little bit. You saw Love try to shoo away Bishop with the forearm a few different times, and didn't get whistled for it. This time he gets caught with it and picks up his first.
Head coach Josh Howard directing traffic from the far sideline as his team's up 5-2 with 2.5 minutes in. To the right side, Glenn leaves it off. Extra pass, Bishop, right corner for three. Good. Colton Bishop with 5 quick points, 8-2 Bruins.
Bishop has been more of a closer for this team in the past in close games, has had some big baskets down the stretch of games. Here he's gotten off to a great start, has 5 of the first 8.
Piedmont's lead is 6. Robinson for Carolina Christian drives from the right wing, goes to the baseline. Tough up and under shot off the back of the rim, no good. And the rebound to the Bruins. Here comes Glenn again on the run, 2-on-3. He has that poke from behind, loose to the free throw line, and here comes the Centurions. Right side for Cunningham into the corner, and he's bumped trying to work his way around Mix, and Troy's going to get whistled for the blocking foul. Substitution as Marcus Ingram checks out. Antoine Robinson first off the bench for the Bruins with 16:50 to play in this opening half. Piedmont leads 8-2.
The Bruins will go a little smaller with Robinson on the floor and Ingram off.
Austin Robinson nearly didn't get it in time. He's able to find Johnson in the near corner. As Carolina Christian moves left to right on your radio dial computer screen. Driving left side, Love is bumped, puts up the shot, no good, no foul. And here comes Piedmont with Robinson. Robinson will send it over to Mix, left corner. Carter wanted the 3. He's sealed off there by the giant Jalen Grace, and I'll bring it up top to the left.
A little bit surprised we didn't see Carter try to take him off the dribble and get to the rim.
Carter, free throw line, leaves it off. 3 on the way. Back iron, no good for Robinson. And the rebound pulled down by the Centurions and Love. 8-2 Piedmont. Robinson for the Centurions. Quick bullet pass to the baseline. Cunningham can't handle it. He'll bring it up top, and I'll leave it off for Grace. Grace spins his left into the lane, puts up the floater, good. Jalen Grace out of Atlanta. The sophomore makes it 8-4 as we take under 16 minutes to go in this opening half here in Winston-Salem. Right corner, Carter. Crossover dribble, tries to shake free of Johnson, cannot. Swinging around the horn, Bishop left wing, has his pocket picks, able to get it back on the floor, but a whistle and a foul's going to get called. Pulling down Bishop was Robinson, and he's going to get whistled for the personal foul.
That's a fortunate break for the Bruins. Like we mentioned, Colton Bishop cannot get into foul trouble tonight for this Bruins team. That probably could have gone either way. Fortunately, it went against Robinson and the Centurions, as we get a couple of subs now for both sides.
Yep, Robert Neal comes in for Piedmont, and the only 2 that can come into the game for Carolina Christian have in Goolsby and Jones. Piedmont basketball up by 4. Quick inbounds pass finds Glenn. Now the inbounder, Bishop, receives it. Now we'll go back up top. Antoine Robinson back to Bishop, high to the right. Goes to the elbow, and it's poked away from Neal, out of bounds. It's going to be off the hands of Gerard Johnson, and will stay with Piedmont with 9 seconds left in the shot clock. It's Grace and Cunningham off the floor for Carolina Christian right now. As corner inbounds looking for Neal. It's stolen away from him. Poked out of the hands by Robinson, and a turnover here for Piedmont. Christian will counter. Top of the key 3 on the way. Off the front of the iron, no good for Love, and it's all Piedmont with the rebound. Glenn will bring it up full. Glenn goes to the right. Leaves it right corner. Robinson will have to back it out. Now Glenn will slow it down up top. 15-14 remaining here in this first half. 8-4 Piedmont leads. Glenn left corner. Neal left corner for 3. No good. Too strong, and the rebound all Johnson. Gerard Johnson will grab the board here for Carolina Christian. 9-7 on the season. Both teams are 2 games over 500 as we tick down to the end of the regular season. Low block for Jones. Step back jumper, good. That's a saucy shot by Christian Jones. Makes it 8-6.
The old school follow-away, Dirk Nowitzki style right there.
Out of Harlem is Christian. He gets on the board. Now Glenn loses it inside the free throw line. Another turnover here for Piedmont. They've been stuck on 8 here for the last couple of minutes. Robinson, check that. Robinson weaves in the lane, puts up the layup. No. Short on the attempt. He was all alone. And the rebound goes to Neal. And a timeout called by Josh Howard, as he sensed a little bit of stagnation here offensively. It's an 8-6 Bruins margin. They have led from the beginning here, but they've had a couple of opportunities to pull out even further ahead, and they've coughed up the basketball.
They have, and I think part of that right now is the focus on the transition game defensively for this Bruins team. On every single trip down the floor, you can see Coach Howard and the coaching staff making a concerted effort to tell his team to get back defensively and not allow anything in transition. You got to believe that's a huge part of the game plan here against a team this quick and this athletic, talking about the Centurions, obviously. And so that seems to be maybe the bigger focus right now as opposed to the offensive side. And then Coach Howard's got to be thinking, all right, we know what we're doing on that side, but we also have to be able to score points in this game. So let's make sure we get into a good rhythm here and get some good shots up.
6 foot, 6'2", 6'2", 6'2", 6'5", 6'6", and 6'7". That's the size that the Bruins are working against here in the Centurions roster. Nash Carter will run the point now out of the timeout. Goes right wing. Will go to Glenn in the corner. Up top, Bishop wanted the three. He's got one of those already and 5 points to lead everybody. Left side for Robinson. Bounces it over to Glenn. Fakes the pass down low. Now tries to shove it off for Neal. It's poked away and stolen. A turnover again. 8-6. Carolina Christian down here looking to tie the game up. But the pass is stolen away. Love has had it poked out of his hands. Lead out pass. Carter high off the glass and good. And the foul. Colton Bishop on the defensive end, poked it out of the hands of Love, and he sprung Carter free. He'll head to the line for the and one.
What a job by Carter that time as he extended that ball out ahead of himself. And now right already we've got pushing and shoving here from both sides between the Centurions and the Bruins, and we're going to get technicals, I think, on both sides. Still 13:55 left to play in this first half.
Well,
again, already the bad blood left over from the first time these two teams saw each other, starting again here.
And you can best explain what happened in the end of January on the north side of the city, Dave, as there were technicals thrown abound in that one and a weird finish that led to a Centurions 2-point victory. But early on in this one, 13:55 to go, we're already starting to see a few tempers flare.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of left over from the first meeting, which got very testy at times, and a large part of that stems from the end of the ball game in which the Centurions largely got away with what should have been a technical foul for having too many players on the court at one time when they sent 7 out for what should have been the final possession of the ball game on the offensive side in what was a 2-point game at the time. The officials did not notice it, although the Centurions did, and committed a couple of violations that should have given the ball back to the Bruins, none of which went called. And as a result, the Centurions were able to get out of here with that 2-point win, and it looks like the technicals are offsetting. And so no free throws will be given to either side. And so now Nash Carter will have an opportunity to complete the old-fashioned 3-point play.
Artavius Love and Antoine Robinson got the technicals in that one. There are 5 team fouls now on Carolina Christian as Carter will head to the free throw line for an and one. There's 4 on the Bruins here.
Just to go back
6 minutes and change in.
Before the technicals, just to go back to what we saw previously, that job by Carter to get that ball up on the rim, really impressive, with a defender trailing him coming from behind, extended the ball out ahead of himself with his left hand, essentially using his body as a shield against the defender crashing into him from behind, and then able to lay it up off the glass and lay it in. A really next-level move by Nash Carter.
After a lengthy delay, Carter is ready to try and knock in this free throw, and the Rhode Island native cannot. It's off the front of the rim. Rebound poked out of the hands of Christian Jones, but Robert Neal is over the back in the process. So it'll go back to Carolina Christian. 10-6, the Bruins advantage here.
That a rare miss at the free throw line for Nash Carter, one of the best free throw shooters on the team, if not the best.
First of a 4-game home stretch to wrap up the regular season here for Piedmont against a team that has become a quick and bitter rival. Robinson, left side, goes right down to the baseline for an easy bucket for Gerard Johnson. Banks it home off the glass. Johnson picks up his first bucket. It's 10-8. Bishop, right side for Robinson. The Jacksonville, North Carolina native gives it off for Bishop, and he drills another 3 from the top. Second 3 of the night for Bishop. He's got 8. 13-8, Bruins lead. Robinson stumbles inside the free throw line and travels. He was hand-checked a little bit, and that caused him to lose his footing. Then his right ankle kind of buckled, and there's a traveling call. Yeah, Robinson didn't like the fact that no foul was called.
I'm not sure why. There was nobody within 2 feet of him, but interesting, again, the mentality by Bishop, who has often been the closer for this team in the past, really starting this game a house of fire early.
Antoine Robinson, floater right side off the glass, no, and there's Cunningham for the Centurions. 13-8, Piedmont leads, 13 minutes to play in this opening half. Cunningham still with the basketball. Another Winston-Salem kid goes left corner. Quick pass to the free throw line. Now a quick pass down low. Cunningham off the glass, rolls around and out. Rebound, pinballs around. It's taken out of there by Keap Jones is into the ball game for the first time for PIU. Carter drives left side, bumps off a 1, puts up the shot. He's blocked. Hits the deck hard, no fouls. It was all ball there. And now here comes Carolina Christian. Robinson drives. He's bumped before he puts the shot off the glass. And a whistle will stop play.
Coach Howard upset, and I think rightfully so. Not so much in the sense that that wasn't a foul, but I think he wants consistency on both ends after Carter was kind of hand-checked on his way to the rim as well, and then there was no foul called, and then back the other way. Again, a fairly soft touch foul going to the rim, called as a foul that time against the Bruins.
The Centurions were all back into the backcourt there. They thought that was going to be a shooting foul, or they thought maybe that was an offensive foul, but instead it's just a regular inbounds here for Carolina. Quick pass down low, and there's going to be your bonus as Goolsby underneath is hand-checked and fouled underneath the bucket. And that should be the 1-and-1.
And at the rate in which fouls are being committed in this game, we may see a ton of free throws before this one is over.
That's the 7th team foul.
Nobody
on
seems to have
Piedmont,
noticed it.
and
now we got it. Okay.
There are 3 people on the floor that need to be aware of that, and no one was until right about now. That was Nash Carter's 2nd personal foul, so 7-team foul and bonus the rest of the way, and there is a long way to go here until halftime.
Bruins just 1 away from the bonus themselves. Well, 2 away.
Darius Goolsby from Kernersville cannot hit the front end of the 1-and-1, and the Centurions had cleared the block, so it's all Tamir Glenn for the rebound. 13-8 Bruins lead, 12.5 to play until halftime.
It's interesting, both teams are just heavily committed to not allowing anything in transition defensively.
Jones up top, Glenn swinging around Robinson. Quick pass down low, Bishop up fakes, puts it up, good, and the foul. Waited for the blow by and then got contact on the way back up. Christian Jones with the foul and an and-one opportunity here for Bishop.
Colton Bishop again with a very different mentality tonight than we've seen throughout most of the season. Off to a great start, already with 10 points in the game, 10 of the 15 for the Bruins, and a chance to make it 11, and is feeling really good about himself.
Next foul will put Piedmont to the free throw line the rest of the night as Bishop cannot hit the three-point play. It's 15-8. Piedmont has led from the beginning here. Deep 3 left side, Cunningham off the back heel, no, and Bishop skies for the rebound, takes it away from his own teammate, Robert Neal. Bishop will bring it up floor. He is playing like a man possessed, steps into a deep 3, no good. Heat check there for Bishop, and a rebound there to Christian Jones. Under 12 to play, 7-point Piedmont lead.
That was a major heat check there by Bishop.
Robinson, floater from the left elbow, too strong. Rebound knocked to the near side. It's picked away by Robinson. Robinson is double teamed, and a jump ball is going to get called. As it looked like Austin Robinson got his hand in the basketball when Antoine was trying to get it free. Possession arrow will send it to Carolina Christian. With 11:37 to play in this opening half. Side court inbounds near side for the Centurions. As Robinson will do the honors, goes into the right corner for Christian Jones. Cross court up top, Gerard Johnson stops at the free throw line, and a whistle away from the ball. And I believe we had a 3-second call or a ticky-tack bump call.
Some type of hand check or a reach-in foul called against the Bruins.
It's Antoine Robinson who got it well away from the play. So at the free throw line, Gerard Johnson cannot hit the front end of the 1-and-1.
So both teams struggling at the line in the early going.
Glenn left side, Keont Jones in the wing, peels it back. Robinson wanted to pass it back up to the top, and no one was there, so he'll bring it there himself. Now Jones has it top of the key. Zone being put on here by Carolina Christian. Now left side Robinson leaves it for Glenn at the wing. Glenn goes to the free throw line, loses it, poked away, and here comes Jonathan Cunningham. Cunningham brings it up for Carolina Christian. He loses it at the wing, loose on the ground. Jones dives for it, he has it. Now Glenn bounce pass up the floor. It's kicked by Austin Robinson, and that will halt what could have been an amazing highlight reel play.
That was absolutely the right play by Robinson to give that kickball as well. Given the situation, that was almost certainly going to be a dunk on the other end for Antoine Robinson, saving 2 points.
Jalen Grace back in for Carolina Christian. He'll grab Gerard Johnson. Under 11 minutes to play, 15-8. Piedmont leads. Both teams are in the bonus here the rest of the way. Jones, top of the key, slings it over to Glenn. Quick pass down low, Marcus Ingram. Baseline jumper goods from 18. Marcus Ingram out of Parkland High School. Knocks it in and gives Piedmont their largest lead of the day at 9. Timeout called by Tony Spates with 10:40 to play. 17-8. Piedmont has stormed in front here of Carolina Christian.
Yeah, really good start. Certainly playing with a real high motor right now, and all of that being led by Colton Bishop, who oftentimes this season has been that kind of guy to lead the emotional charge for this team, although we've seen it oftentimes when they've needed a kick in the butt in the second halves of games that they've been trailing. Today, he came with it right from the start of this game and has really propelled them to this lead, leading by 9, their largest of the night. He himself with 10 in the game, and then, as always, his energy level very contagious, wearing off on the rest of his team.
Bishop will sit on the bench here for the next couple of moments here, getting a little bit of a breather. It's Glenn, Jones, Ingram, Robinson, and Mix, the 5 on the floor here for Josh Howard's crew, as Carolina Christian brings it up. Austin Robinson will go left side, up fakes the 3, does Cunningham. Now back to Robinson between the rings. Robinson to Cunningham, left corner for 3. Too strong, high off the rim. Rebound knocked around off the baseline. It's going to stay with Carolina as it was kicked off of Antoine Robinson. And out of bounds it goes off the baseline.
Bruins coming with a little bit of a different look on this defensive trip, going with a 2-3 zone, trying to force things to the outside.
Austin Robinson will inbounds to the right-hand side. Cunningham, quick pass down low. Jones has it, and a whistle and a foul. A hand check's going to get called. Look to be on Marcus Ingram, and it is. So that will send Christian Jones to the free throw line for the front end of the 1-and-1. Centurions have missed the front end of their last 2 1-and-1s. As Robert Neal comes back in, Ingram checks out. That's his second personal. The freshman out of Harlem. Free throw good. Rolls it in as again the Centurions clear the lane. They just want to get set up defensively. We saw Piedmont do that on the other end as well.
From Carolina Christian's perspective, I actually think that might be part of a preventative measure to try and avoid silly fouls in the rebounding action.
1 for 2 at the line for Jones. 17-9 our score. Right side, Glenn wants a 3. No good. Rebound high off the rim. Loose in the near sideline. Out of bounds it goes. It'll go to Piedmont. A battle underneath, and Grace knocked it away from Neal, and Grace knocked it out of bounds when all was said and done. 9:57 to play until halftime. 17-9 PIU. Antoine Robinson slowing things down. Now he'll go across court. Keont Jones to Glenn. Quick pass to Neal. Swing it around. Glenn has it again. Passes moving quickly here. Right corner. Jones tried to drive. He cannot. Back it up top. Mix in the lane. Goes to the right side. He puts up the floater and he travels. So out of all that, a traveling violation there on Troy Mix.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was actually a travel or not. I think kind of the little hop step that time, and then Mix kind of fainted like he was moving forward, and I think the official might have thought he took the extra step. I'm not sure he did, though.
9.5 to play in this opening half. 17-9 PIU. Quick pass, no look to Cunningham, left side, has to peel it back. Now top of the key, Robinson for 3. Side of the iron, no good. Rebound, Darius Goolsby, reset down low. Grace has it, puts it up over Neal, and good. Jalen Grace makes it 17-11. He's got his second bucket. 6-point lead here for the Bruins, moving right to left. Robinson brings it high right to Glenn, right corner, nearly falls out of bounds. Now goes back to Robinson, slings it left side. Nash Carter back in, and back to Robinson. Steps inside the arc, right wing jumper, rolls around and out, and the rebound to Grace after a couple of pinballs. CCC can cut it to a possession here with a 3. Down by 6 with 8:42 to play in this first half. Left side, Goolsby stops, leaves it off. Left corner 3, Jalen Grace knocks it in. The 6'6" sophomore drains the triple from the left corner. It's 17-14.
Well, if he can do that, coupled with his size as a consistent weapon from the three-point line, he is a totally different animal for this Bruins team to try and defend.
8:20 to play. Tamir Glenn gets it back from Robinson, now drives, sidesteps, puts up the runner in the lane. No, he hit the deck, no foul called. Grace is all alone for the rebound, and Jalen Grace hobbling a little bit back down the floor for the Centurions. 8 minutes to play. Robinson up top for the tie. No good. Deep 3, heat check. And Neal is all alone for the rebound, loses it unimpeded, is able to get it to Carter behind the back. He twirls, goes right side. Glenn for three, got it! That looked ugly at the start, beautiful at the end. Timeout, Tony Spates. As Neal, nearly an unforced turnover, got it to Carter, went behind the back, slung it to Glenn for the three, and it's 20-14 with 7:52 to play. Timeout on the floor, we'll take a break. And we'll keep it here. Another 30-second timeout called by Tony Spates, their second of the half. Another triple drain here by Piedmont. And they're able to get this lead back out to 6, Dave, without Colton Bishop on the floor. Now it looks like he might be coming back in here. We'll keep an eye on the bench.
Yeah, and that three comes at a good time, just as it looked like the Centurions were finally starting to get comfortable against the pressure and the pace of play in this game. They were just starting to kind of find their way into this. And then Glenn with a big three to stretch the lead back out to 6 at 20-14.
Bishop will check in at the next opportunity here as Carolina Christian brings it up the floor with Austin Robinson. Being guarded by Glenn, who surveys the defense behind him. Robinson picks up his dribble. Grace comes to get it top. Now steps into another three. Way off the mark. Lansing blow off the rim. Rebound kicked off of Robinson's legs and out of bounds. And it'll go back to Piedmont. Grace felt good from the left corner. That was offline by plenty from the top of the arc. And now Bishop back in. He'll grab Robert Neal. Bishop with 10 points to lead everybody. 20-14. Piedmont leads. Antoine to Carter, high to Glenn. Swing it around the horn, mix, right corner. Up top for Robinson again. Robinson, crossover dribble to Glenn. Left corner, left wing for three. Glancing blow out the rim. Rebound track down. Saved by Bishop to Glenn. Up top to Robinson. Stops at the elbow. Jumper too strong. And Grace is there for the rebound for Carolina. 7 minutes to play in this first half. 6-point Bruin lead.
Missed opportunity there for the Bruins. Had numbers. Robinson not able to get that jumper to go from the free throw line, though. Robinson
had an alleyway to drive, too, and decided to pull up for the jumper there. Christian Jones pulls up and hits from just inside the arc. Makes it 20-16. Bishop, quick pass to Mix, who wasn't really expecting at the free throw line. He's able to weave between two, go right to the rack. He goes up in his foul.
Good strong move by Troy Mix, who, as the season has progressed, has at times fallen in love with the three-point shot. That time camping himself out in the lane and attacking inside amongst the trees, and that time able to get himself to the free throw line. We talked about the Bruins playing without Bishop and with Carter on the bench with a couple of fouls. It should also be noted that the Centurions have hung in this game despite the fact that Artavius Love has been on the bench for a long time, also with 2 fouls.
And now
so both teams dealing with foul issues.
Now Gerard Johnson has 2 fouls after that one. First one's good for Mix. Second one for the New Orleanian on the way and rolls it in. 2 for 2 at the line for Mix. 22-16, a 6-point Bruin advantage. 6:35 to go until halftime. Slowly bringing it across the timeline is Austin Robinson. You just wonder with 7 players how long they can go up and down the floor, but this is a big athletic group that Tony Spates has. Grace left corner, goes to Robinson, cutting down the lane, jump step, puts up the tough up and under shot and gets it to drop. Makes it a 4-point game again with 6:10 to play, 22-18. Carter left wing, just fires a 3, no good. And all Jalen Grace for the rebound. Quick shot there for Piedmont, 1 and done as we take under 6 minutes to play. Robinson bumped at the top of the arc. He'll bring it back out, goes right corner. Cunningham, an extra pass to Grace, back up top. And Robinson back over Cunningham, another 3. Got it. Jonathan Cunningham makes it a 1-point game, closest it's been since the early couple of seconds. 22-21. Glenn to Robinson. Back to Glenn, swing it to right side for Bishop. Bishop wants a screen from Mix. He'll eventually take it back to the top of the arc. Left side wide open for 3. Got it! Antoine Robinson, a big shot there as they left him wide open on the left side. Back to 4, 25-21. 5:14 remaining here in this first half. Austin Robinson to Cunningham, right corner, back to Robinson. Drives to the elbow, puts up the tough runner, no good. Rebound poked out of bounds. It'll be off of Johnson, who came flying in, knocked it out of the hands of Bishop, but he knocked it off the baseline. Piedmont basketball here. Oh, looks like they're going to call a foul down there. Johnson did go over the back on Bishop, and he's going to get whistled for his 3rd personal. So that will send Bishop to the free throw line. That's a big foul there for Tony Spates as the point guard out of Norfolk picks up his third. Bishop cannot hit the front end of the 1-and-1. That's the 18th foul on Carolina Christian, but Bishop can't pay it off. Stays 4, 25-21.
Free throws continue to be an issue for both sides, as both have been at the line repeatedly, but neither really taking much advantage of it.
Robinson for Carolina Christian. Will leave it off Johnson. Back to Robinson, right side, being guarded by Carter. Goes down low for Grace at the elbow. Grace has it poked out of his hands by Carter. Now 3-on-1. Carter will go cross court. Layup good for Robinson. 27-21. Antoine Robinson has 4. Austin Robinson, no relation, drives right of the lane. Tough, awkward shot off the glass, nearly got to go. Johnson pokes the rebound out of the hands of Bishop and knocks it through. Back down to 4, 27-23, approaching 4 minutes to play in this first half. Glenn weaves towards the baseline, leaves it off. Oh, what a find to Carter underneath the basket for the reverse layup. He was looking back to the left wing, and Carter was hanging out along the left baseline. No looked it to Nash, who knocked it through and back to 6. 29-23, 3:48 to go until halftime. Austin Robinson, cross court. Cunningham, back to Robinson. Johnson, Grace, 3, right wing, no. Glenn's there for the rebound for Piedmont. And a timeout's coming here for Josh Howard to set up this next 3:32, a pivotal stretch here before halftime. We'll take the break now with Piedmont leading 29-23 over Carolina Christian. Back with more after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Drive. Unity.
That's what it takes to be a Bruin.
1, 2, 3, baby!
3:32 to play until halftime. 29-23. Piedmont has led from the beginning here against Carolina Christian. It's been as big as 9. But the lead has kind of seesawed between 4 and 7 here of late, Dave Shook. But they're doing a good job kind of limiting the access down low to the bucket here against this team that can drive and can get to the basket with pretty decent regularity.
Yeah, we were just talking about it during the break, actually, that the Bruins defensively have done a really nice job of not allowing the size advantage that the Centurion team has from becoming much of a factor on the offensive end. We've seen a couple of second chance opportunities, but overall they've not really been able to get and sustain much in the paint on the defensive end. Now the offensive end has been a different story, where the Bruins are shooting over the length, it seems like, every single trip down the floor, which has caused some of those slow periods of offense.
Bishop, deep 3, top of the key, no good, glancing off the rim and out of bounds.
And there's an example of it right there, is that the Bruins not able to weave their way inside against the bigger trees of the Centurion team and then forced to settle for a long 3 from Bishop.
That could not be what Josh Howard wanted out of the timeout that he just called there. Keeps this a 2-possession game, 29-23. Austin Robinson for Carolina. To Grace at the charity stripe. Quick pass to Johnson. Steps into a fall-away jumper left side and knocks it through. Tough shot there for Gerard Johnson, but he's able to drain the 20-footer, 29-25. Glenn gets a screen as Ingram is tripped, hits the deck, but no foul called there away from the basketball. Now Carter right wing, crossover dribble into the lane, leaves it off Glenn, wants another 3, got it! Tamir Glenn from the left wing drains his second triple. 32-25, back to 7 for the Bruins.
Glenn has really come on the second half of the season.
Robinson, a deep 3 right side, no, and it hits the wiring on top of the bucket that attaches it to the ceiling. That's out of bounds. And we go back to PIU. We'll look to expand this lead back out to 9 or even 10.
Tamir has really come on the second half of the season and become a real second option offensively for this team alongside Nash Carter, providing them with a real 1-2 punch in that backcourt. And he's helped make this team a much more potent offensive team.
5 threes knocked down by Piedmont here already tonight. 2 minutes to go. Bishop drives, jump stop floater in and out. And the rebound to Christian Jones. 1:55 to play, 32-25 PIU. Austin Robinson, Cunningham left wing, fires a three. Way off, he was altered by Cutter. The ball's loose at the free throw line. Diving for it are a couple of players. A jump ball is going to be called. It'll go to Piedmont. Gerard Johnson dove for the basketball for Carolina Christian. Didn't see which Bruin went in after it as well, but whoever it was got the tie up in the possession.
And a little bit more words between the two teams.
It was Antoine Robinson who did the yeoman's work at the charity stripe there and got the possession back for the Bruins.
Officials able to step in and calm everybody down, though. Should be noted that the Bruins playing a little bit shorthanded tonight as well. Rashad Delgado over on the bench in street clothes right now. So the Bruins a little bit shorthanded tonight as well, but now we're going to get a whistle and a timeout, just a 30-second timeout for Coach Howard and the Bruins, who I think want to talk about what they want to do over this final 142. The end of the first halves have been sort of a bugaboo of this team. We've seen them get off to good starts this season, and we've seen them have great closes over the final 10 minutes of the second halves throughout a lot of games this season, in particular games in this building right here where they've only lost 2 times all year, including one to this very same Carolina Christian team. But one of the reasons they've had to rally over the final 10 minutes of a lot of games in this building has been the fact that the end of the first halves have at times gone less than desirable, or less than favorably, I should say. And so I think with a 7-point lead coming down the final 100 seconds of this half, if you can put together a couple of more buckets and go in with a double-digit lead, that would be very different from what this team has experienced a lot of times this season.
It'll be Glenn, Robinson, Carter, Bishop, and Ingram on the floor out of this timeout. All but one of the starting 5. With 95 seconds to go until halftime. Bishop, left corner, Glenn, another three, short. And the rebound knocked around in the baseline. It's corralled by Christian Jones for Carolina. And a whistle, and what do we got here? A small child ran out into the court, into the front court there.
That seems suboptimal.
And ran right into one of the officials. It was probably best that it was an official who noticed that and didn't run into one of the players, because that would have been painful for most.
Well, ironically, it was Jalen Grace that was running down the sideline that saw it first, and that's the last guy you want to run into if you're a small child.
No, that small child would lose that battle. Quick underneath. Goolsby has it underneath the basket. He goes up and he's fouled. Crowd thought it was a block, but Marcus Ingram's going to get pegged for the personal. That'll send Goolsby to the free throw line. That's the 3rd on Ingram. 10th on the team, double bonus for the remaining 114 for the Centurions. The freshman out of Kernersville sights and shoots and hits. Makes it 32-26, a 6-point margin. Robert Neal comes in. Ingram checks out with those 3 fouls. Second one is good. Rolls it in, does Darius. Makes it 5-point margin, 32-27, 1:12 to play. Samir Glenn will leave it off for Antoine Robinson. Wants to go somewhere, eventually goes to Carter, high left. Quick pass, Bishop on the baseline. Extra pass, right wing, 3 on the way. In and out for Robinson. Bishop there for the offensive board. Spins, puts it up. Nobody's fouled. Bishop flies in where he was on the left baseline to start that play. Came in from the right side after the miss from Robinson. Cleaned it up and got the foul. Head to the line for 2.
Got himself in between a couple of Centurion defenders that time to get that rebound. So just kind of finding some space to carve out to pick up that offensive rebound and a chance to get a couple of points at the line.
Piedmont has not taken advantage of their few trips to the free throw line, but Bishop gets the roll on that one. Christian Jones gets his 2nd. That's the 9th on Carolina.
Bishop himself 0 for 2 at the line before that make.
Second one for the junior. Got it. Bishop up to 12. Lead back to 7, 34-27. Under a minute to play now. Cunningham will now run the show. Will go to Robinson. Just fumbled it away out of bounds. Wasn't looking for the basketball, or he didn't watch it into his hands. And has lost it in the student section. So an unforced error there for Carolina. And with 45 seconds to play, Piedmont takes the ball up 7. Colton Bishop now running point. With Glenn and Robinson in either corner. Bishop's just going to slow it down. Little step into a three right wing, no good. Foul zone shot, but cannot get the rebound away from Cunningham, who tracks it down. Shot clock off with 23 seconds to play. Carolina goes, Robinson in the lane, floater off the back bracket, no. Rebound tipped around, Carter can't corral it. Neal saves it from going out of bounds. It goes to Carter, out of bounds. That's it poked out of his hands by Robinson. It'll go back to Piedmont. What effort there by Neal, skying out of bounds to save that one. And now Piedmont with the last shot with 12.2 seconds remaining. Inbound to Carter, who hasn't touched it yet, as it rolls about 3/4 of the way to the midcourt stripe. Now he'll pick it up and send it off to Bishop, who'll bring it across the line. Bishop with 8 on the clock. To Robinson with 5, with 4. Back to Bishop with 3, with 2. Goes down the lane, leaves it off for Neal. He puts it up. He's blocked at the buzzer, as Robinson came in and denied Neal at the end of the half. And the score remains a 7-point lead for Piedmont at the break. 34-27, Bruins on top of the Centurions. Halftime is next here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Yeah. Low. Yeah. 360 in the contract, never that. I just take the contact, I bring it back. I'm running on the fast break, behind the back. Yeah, this that penny with the shack.
If he's passing me the rock, you might not get it back. They never gave a hand, now they wanna give me that. I don't know where you been, I got fear of God, ain't no fear of man. These them air minios, yeesh, need a pair of them. LA, man, I feel like magic. LA, I can't stand the traffic. West side for the vacation. Yeah, Westbrook on the isolation. Yeah. So New York City gotta keep it Mickey Mantle, the bubble jacket with the pimpy winkle camo, From Argentina, it's a military issue, And Lloyd said don't mix the pitbull with the shit, so don't do it.
I just threw it off the backboard. Game winner, I'm the one they asked for. Magic. I need meditation.
6 deep, Peter Luger made the reservation.
Pass the check right in, no hesitation.
Spotify to show the kid love. I'm like, what a week. Everybody trying to get my plug number for the years. I told my love, baby, we should leave. Then we go and get the pho, that's that Vietnamese. Yeah, so shout out all the single mothers, 2 jobs, 3 kids. I call that a triple-double, call plays in the huddle. God, I'm in trouble. Shorties want me sub them in, and they sure ain't being subtle.
Well, now the hometown kids finally took the talk.
Vertical Worship in concert Friday, February 16th, 7 p.m. at Triad Baptist Church in Kernersville.
Spirit of the living God, oh, the rock won't move and His word is strong. Holy Spirit, come.
An evening with Vertical Worship, Friday, February 16th, hosted by Piedmont International University. For tickets or more information, visit piedmontu.edu. Piedmont International.
Entertaining first half of our second game of this doubleheader tonight in Winston-Salem. 34-27, Piedmont leads Carolina Christian at the break alongside Mason Cox and Dave Shook. I am Corey Glore, and we are expecting a little bit of fire, a little bit of temper, and a little bit of excitement. Well, we got slight bits of those first two, but a heck of a lot of that third one there, and it's been kind of an up and down affair. Piedmont has had the lead from the beginning here, Dave, but they haven't been able to shake free of this highly talented, albeit short-handed Centurions group.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Centurions right now, you've got to be okay with where you're sitting right now, in particular the fact that Artavius Love, one of your top players, sat a long way in that first half after he picked up his second foul early in the game. He did not play over the final 15 minutes. And so a team that was already shorthanded was even more so because they did not want to risk Love picking up a third foul. And so to go that long with that little depth and one of your best players on the bench that entire way and to only be down 7, you've got to feel okay about where you're at right now if you're the Centurions. On the other side for the Bruins, You got off to a much better start in this game than you did in the first meeting between these two teams, and a large part of that was Colton Bishop and the fact that he finished with 12 points in that first half, 10 of those coming in the opening 10 minutes of the game. He was very impressive, and it was clear that the Bruins felt like they let one get away the first time these two teams met and were determined not to let that happen again here tonight.
We've seen Colton Bishop in games past be kind of the star of the show at ends of contests, but he came right out of the gate here tonight with a purpose in mind. He was right away making sure that Carolina Christian knew he was there. He was talking to the Centurions on the floor. He was getting the student section riled up from the very beginning here tonight. He was very adamant right off the get-go here, Dave, that he wanted to make his presence felt at the very beginning, and he certainly did.
Yeah, and especially given the bad blood that boiled over a little bit from the first meeting, you kind of figured this was going to be a physical game, and it has been that early on. But I thought it was interesting also that the energy that Bishop brought, but you also saw the game plan that was very clear, a very concise game plan defensively to try and limit things in transition and force this Carolina Christian College team into a half-court type of game. And we saw that throughout that first half, when the game really settled into a multiple possession, half-court type of game, the Bruins were at an advantage in that situation, which hasn't always been the case. And at times you saw the Centurion offense get really bogged down and settle for some bad shots. And if they can continue to do that over the final 20 minutes, you've got to feel like they have a pretty good chance, Artavius Love or no Artavius Love, of finding a way to win this game.
I'll tell you what, Carolina Christian has already come out of the halftime locker room. That is the earliest I've ever seen any sort of basketball team come out of a halftime break. They spent about 4 minutes into the locker room there. Now, with 7 players, there's only so much you can draw up schematically with a roster of this size, but they make up for it, Dave, with their size, their strength, and their quickness, which we have seen flashes of here in this one. They're 9-7 for a reason, despite just 7 eligible players, and that's because they can get up and down the floor and they can control the paint.
And we did see them make some adjustments as the half went along, dealing with that 2-3 zone that Coach Howard and the Bruins threw at them, which was really designed to keep players like Artavius Love out of the paint for most of that first half, and it really did that for about the first 15 minutes. But as the half progressed, you did see them start to make some adjustments. You saw Jalen Gray setting up at the free throw line in the middle of that 2-3 zone. Got to believe we're going to see more stuff like that, trying to get action and going at the free throw line to draw the attention of the defense, and then allow that to produce some kickouts and then some drives toward the rim as the defense has to constantly rotate and shift. And if they can do that, you figure they're going to get downhill and start doing what they do best, and that's attacking the rim, getting second chance opportunities, and being able to put points on the board that way. If the Bruins can keep them away from the rim, though, the way they did for the majority of that first half, again, got to feel like they're in pretty good shape here.
34-27, Piedmont leads Carolina Christian at the break. We'll take a look at the first half numbers after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
This program is unique in that it addresses 3 key leadership areas: organizational management, educational administration, and ministry administration.
I would say the payoff is in ways that I never imagined. I never thought I would have such a supportive network. I never thought I would meet such great people who were at different points in their life. I mean, you can be sitting next to someone who's the CEO, and you sit next to people who are doctors. You also sit next to people who are stay-at-home moms who have decided to go back to school. It has enriched me in ways I just never thought a PhD program would.
I have a nuclear engineering technology bachelor's degree. I got an MBA from a secular school, and I knew that there was a whole Christian aspect of leadership. You read the books about Nehemiah, David, Christ himself. And so I wanted to build that into my learning and knowledge, so I started looking for a Christian college.
Piedmont comes across my computer, and they're on the top of all these lists, best this, top that, top 25, top. And I said, okay, this school seems to have a reputation for academic excellence.
The professors, the relationships we're building, and the leadership program is second to none. I'm able to use every single class I've taken in my business, and my business has grown. Not only my business, but I'm able to do community development and train other leaders, young leaders, middle-aged leaders, older leaders, and then I'm able to pass on leadership abilities and skills, to other people.
This program has a number of key strengths. Depending on which concentration, whether it's education or business or ministry, Because it's a terminal degree, a PhD, it opens doors of opportunity. God can use this program in so many different ways. In pastoral ministry, it can open doors to greater opportunities to share Christ in different contexts. In organizational management, it opens doors to new leadership positions. For many of our students, that's been their story. And in educational administration, it has done the same as well.
Since I've been in the program, the flexibility of the schedule, because I had to relocate from one end of the country to the other. I had to go to China for 2 adoptions. Last year my daughter had open heart surgery, so we were able to work around that.
PIU students, they walk the talk. The professors, they walk the talk. So they lead by example, and therefore their students just emulate and lead by example in the communities they come from. It's just that simple.
To know that not only are my professors top-notch, not only do they know, everything in their field, they're leaders in their field, they're knowledgeable, they're guiding you, they're praying for you. And to know that makes all the difference in the world.
It's cost effective. It got the goal of having the Christian aspect brought into leadership and how that fits all together, and then the staff support.
But if you make the decision and you decide to come, it's the best decision you'll ever make, and you will not be the same afterwards.
I knew I had made the right decision.
Take a look at the first half numbers. Everyone's being led by Colton Bishop. His 12 points, the only man in double figures, leads the way for PIU. Tamir Glenn has 7 points, second in line for the Bruins. Antoine Robinson has 5 to go along with 4 points for Marcus Ingram and Nash Carter, respectively. Troy Mix has knocked in a couple of free throws. Piedmont International has been terrific from beyond the arc. They've hit 5 threes in the game. Carolina Christians being led by a pair of scorers, Jalen Grace and Christian Jones, each with 7. Gerard Johnson has 6. Jonathan Cunningham has 3. Darius Goolsby with 2, as does Austin Robinson. Artavius Love, the only man that has not scored. He has been plagued with 2 personal fouls. We are ticking down to the second half. 34-27 our score. Piedmont in front. We'll be back with second half action after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Oh yeah, that's how you close it.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
Low. Yeah, 360 in the contract, never that. I just take the contact, I bring it back. I'm running on the fast break, behind the back. Yeah, this that penny with the shack.
The fees passing me the rock, you might not get it back. They never gave a hand, now they wanna give me that. I don't know where you been, I got fear of God, ain't no fear of man. These them air minios, yeesh, need a pair of them.
LA, man, I feel like magic. LA, I can't stand the traffic. West side for the vacation. Yeah, Westbrook on the isolation.
Yeah. So New York City gotta keep it Mickey Mantle, The bubble jacket with the piffy winkle camo, From Argentina, it's a military So shout out all the single mothers, 2 jobs, 3 kids. I call that a triple-double, call plays in the huddle. God, I'm in trouble. Shorties want me sub 'em in, and they sure ain't being subtle.
Well, now the hometown kids finally took the tour foreign. I don't never ever chase dreams, man, I stalk them.
34-27, Piedmont International leads Carolina Christian as we start off second half play here in Winston-Salem. Centurions of the basketball moving right to left on your computer screen, mobile device, or smoke signal devices, however you're listening to us here today. Dribble down low, Grace dribbles it right off his foot, out of bounds.
I think I'm about due for an upgrade on my smoke signal device, actually.
I mean, it's time to get with the program. It's 2018. Dave Shook alongside myself, Corey Glore, Mason Cox spinning the dials, turning the camera, all that fun here tonight. 7-point lead for the Bruins, just 30 seconds in. Nash Carter up top for Glenn. First possession of the half here for Piedmont as it's the starting 5 on the floor to start. Carter steps into a 3, top of the key, no good. And the rebound, Artavius Love, who played with 2 personal fouls in the first 5 minutes. We didn't see him again, but it was clear early, Dave, that they wanted to use him out from the jump.
He was the focal point of the offense while he was out there. Got to believe he's going to try and make up for lost time.
Cunningham for 3 left side, no. Weak side rebound for Mix.
He sat a long way, 15 minutes worth in that first half, and they're only down 7. Again, we talked about it during halftime. Centurions can't feel like they're in a terrible spot here.
Mix tried a bullet pass down to the free throw line for Carter. It hits a couple of Centurions, hits the deck, and Austin Robinson will dive for it. He has the basketball, and I think a foul is going to get called on Nash Carter jumping into the fracas.
Foul is on Carter, and so the Centurions will get it back. Both teams still looking for their first points of the second half.
That is the 3rd on Carter, and he put on a terrific facepalm just now, but foul trouble early on here in the second half for Nash. A minute gone, 34-27. No one scored here in the half. Leave it off Johnson from Grace in the paint. He can't handle it. Going down to the deck is Ingram. He has the basketball for PIU, and he'll give it off to Carter, who brings it up floor. Carter, right wing. Goes to Bishop with 12. Quick pass to Glenn. Back up top, Bishop. Extra pass, Carter, right side. Zone being put on by Carolina Christian. Mix tries to drive, loses it, but Carter has it in the right corner. Up top, plenty of time on the shot clock. Glenn weaves in, leaves it off Carter, left corner, sealed off for a 3, drives baseline. He's bumped and fouled by Jalen Grace just as Carter lost it out of bounds. Grace can't believe he was whistled for the foul. It's a little bit of a reach-in. He's going to get the big man for his first personal.
Defensively, up until that reach-in by Grace, that was a terrific defensive possession, but Grace didn't move his feet there and kind of gave up and reached.
Shot clock resets to 20 as Bishop has it right wing. No one scored in the first 140 of this half. Mix wants a 3. Back iron, no. Rebound. Bishop skies for it, punches it out of bounds. It will go to Carolina Christian as he and Love are battling for it. And the drought continues here to start this half for both squads.
This has not had the furious up and down pace that the first game had, and we talked about that throughout the first half, that a large part of that was due to the fact that both teams had made a very concerted effort to prevent anything in transition, and that's been the theme throughout the night, trying to force both teams into a half-court type of game, and that's really what we've gotten here.
Stepping into a 3 right at the top is Artavius Love. No good. The rebound knocked around the free throw line. Glenn winds up with a loose change. He'll find Ingram on the right baseline, goes right to the bucket, off the glass, and good. Marcus Ingram suddenly saw a C part in front of him right to the cup and knocked it off the glass for 2. He's got 6. Now left wing 3 on the way. Austin Robinson, no. Bishop's there for the weak side board. No, Carter springs Antoine Robinson free, and he lays it in. Cherry picking behind the defense was Robinson. Timeout, Tony Spates. As he was wondering where his transition defense was there, it was stuck behind Antoine Robinson. Full timeout, just 2 minutes and 36 seconds into the second half. The lead is 11 for PIU, their largest of the game, 38-27 on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
This program is unique in that it addresses 3 key leadership areas: organizational management, educational administration, and ministry administration.
I would say the payoff is in ways that I never imagined. I never thought I would have such a supportive network. I never thought I would meet such great people who were at different points in their life. I mean, you can be sitting next to someone who's the CEO, and you sit next to people who are doctors. You also sit next to people who are stay-at-home moms who have decided to go back to
After a sluggish start to the half for both, a quick 4-0 burst for PIU to make this an 11-point margin, 17:34 remaining in the ball game. 38-27, the lead over Carolina Christian. Corey Glore, Dave Shook, and Dave, you and I were just discussing during that timeout there called by Tony Spates. 2 long, ill-advised 3 balls by Carolina Christian led to PIU runouts, and the lead is double digits.
And that is exactly what you're looking for on the defensive end with this 2-3 zone, is to force a team that wants to get in the paint, utilize their athleticism to bomb away from a step or two beyond the three-point line. You'll take those shots every single time, especially when you get runouts the other way off long rebounds.
Artavius Love leaves it off. Austin Robinson up and under move, adjusts his shot, trying to work around Ingram. Doesn't get the shot to drop, but gets the rebound. Now he's trapped into the basket. Reverse layup, no. Jalen Grace offensive board. Hook shot, no. Rebound still loose on the ground. Tamir Glenn falls to the deck looking for it. Austin Robinson wants it as well, and a foul's going to get called. And now technical fouls are going to get called. And who has the initial foul?
The foul, I think, is going to be on Robinson initially, and then I think he's also going to get slapped with a tee. And if that's the case, that's 2 on him.
There was double technical fouls called early in the first half as well to kind of stave off any sort of tempers that might flare. Austin Robinson does get the personal foul, and now it looks like
Marcus Ingram picks up the technical as well.
Yeah, Marcus Ingram picks up a technical as well.
I thought they were going to give that foul as well to Robinson, which would have kind of compounded it.
He also got the technical, but it was Antoine Robinson who got the technical for PIU in the first half.
Yeah.
As Piedmont will have the basketball here, up 11. Colton Bishop left wing. Nash Carter to Glenn, drives right side, leaves it off. Carter under the bucket, put it up and in, and the foul.
What a terrific find that time by Tamir Glenn. Drew the defender toward him after he beat his man on the wing, got into the paint, drew the attention of the defense, and just a little shovel pass underneath to Carter, who made a good cut from the opposite wing, wide open under the basket for an easy layup.
Foul on Jalen Grace, his second of the half. Free throw up and good for Carter. 3-point play is good.
And just like that, all of a sudden, a 14-point lead at 41-27. That's a 7-0 run to open the second half.
16:49 remaining as Gerard Johnson comes out for Carolina Christian. So we'll set the Centurions lineup here whenever anyone feels like starting to play here. The officials are talking to the scores table right now. It's Goolsby, Love, Grace, Cunningham, and Jones, the 5 on the floor for the Centurions, who have not found a point yet in this first 3:11.
That you're making the change in the lineup right now is that Garrett Johnson just picked up his 4th personal foul for the Centurions. A team already depth challenged, cannot afford to lose anybody here.
You're right, it wasn't on Grace, it was on Johnson. That's a problem, and the pass right wing is popped around. Grace eventually winds up for it, drives from the high post, and a whistle and a traveling violation on the big man.
You're starting to see some frustration creep in a little bit for the Centurion team. They've not been able to solve this zone defense most of the night, as they have really been limited offensively and forced into being a jump shooting team and playing in a half-court game, which is not their strong suit. And so the Bruin defense deserves a lot of credit for forcing this very athletic Centurion team into a very small ball type of game.
How long can this run go to start the half? Ingram drives from the free throw line. He's stripped on the way up out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bruins.
What a great move by Ingram, though, to freeze big Jalen Grace, giving up 40 or 50 pounds and a couple of inches as well, but froze him in his tracks. Just did get the ball knocked away.
Quick inbound. Ingram, low post jumpers through for Marcus. He's got 8. And a 9-0 run to start the half. 43-27. You're seeing some heavy legs here for the Centurions, especially defensively. Artavius Love, who has been held without a point. Quick pass to the low block. Now kick it out left side. Cunningham wants a 3. Way long, and the rebound punched off the glass. No. Grace has the offensive board. Put it up good. Jalen Grace snaps the drought at 4:07 as Carolina's on the board here in the second half. 43-29. PIU leads by 14. Quick pass. Bishop cutting right down the lane. Leaves it off for Ingram for the easy bucket. What a find from Carter at the top. Bishop streaking down the baseline. Extra pass to Ingram. He's up to 10.
Things are easy right now on the offensive end for the Bruins while they continue to be difficult on the Centurions, and that's why this lead is ballooned to 16.
Traveling violation on Artavius Love. He tried that up fake for the top of the arc and kept his pivot foot moving. Turnover, 16-point lead. 4:35 gone here in the half. Bishop up fakes the three. Now a quick pass up top. Glenn can't get it. It's deflected in the backcourt. And now they'll say it was not. And it'll be an over the back call. The Piedmont bench wants an over the back. Glenn thought it was tipped. That's why he was hustling back to get it as fast as he was. To be honest, from here, it didn't look like it was.
I don't think it was either, but again, that was on the opposite side of the floor from where we are, so tough to tell from our vantage point. The official on the side of the floor where it happened was the one who made the call to say that it was over and back and that it was not deflected, so we'll go with that.
Robert Neal checks in. Marcus Ingram out with 15:15 to play. Cunningham nearly slips left wing. Will swing it around the horn for Goolsby. Up drives, bumping off Glenn, leaves it off. Love for three, in and out, halfway down and pops out. And Bishop skies for the board in front of Christian Jones.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want defensively if you're the Bruins.
Bishop, extra pass, Glenn Lightning here over Carolina Christian. Back with more after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
Piedmont starting to seize control of this one early in the second half, 45-29. They've taken a 7-point lead and turned it into a 16-point margin here with 14:46 to play. And there's still some discrepancy about how the last possession ended, as right now it's set up for Carolina Christian basketball. I promise you, Cunningham knocked that off the side of the backboard and then play was stopped, unless they ruled that that three from the left wing from Tamir Glenn hit the baseline. That probably should have been Piedmont ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think initially they had the call correct where it should have been Carolina Christian ball, but they signaled it was Piedmont ball and then maybe changed their mind during the timeout.
Love weaves in, finds Jones, who corrals a loose change and banks it home.
And at long last, some penetration inside that zone for the Centurions and their first basket of the second half, I believe.
45-31. 14:15 to go. Glenn, top of the key, he's his left. Cross court for Bishop. Bishop held quiet here in the second half after 12 in the first. Glenn left wing, leaves it off. A deep three on the way. Robinson, no, too strong. Robert Neal's there for the offensive board. Put back, no. And Carolina Christian will clean it up with Love. Artavius Love. Between the leg dribble, bullet pass, Grace drives baseline. Up and under, reverse layup, no. Rebound tapped out of there. It goes to Carolina Christian again. Cunningham tries to find Grace down low. He can't grab it. Eventually goes to Goolsby, who pumps it home. Helter-skelter, the ball was barely being possessed there by the Centurions, but they get the bucket and cut it to 12.
That's two in a row, though, in which the Centurions have been able to get to the rim and use their athleticism to their advantage.
Out of the Piedmont timeout, the Centurions on an early 4-0 run here. Carter's trapped in the corner by Jones, goes to the baseline. Neal saves it from going out of bounds, but passes it to Bishop on the left side. How did he wind up with that? Bishop in the lane, he goes up. And a whistle, and what do we got? A traveling call. Everyone's looking at each other on the refereeing corps here to decide who wants to call foul or travel. The sideline judge on the far side looked at the baseline judge and say, what are you calling? Because I got travel.
Gotta love it when they all look at each other and then just make something up.
13 minutes to go. Lead is 12 for the Bruins. Love for Carolina Christian. Down low, spin move, Jones puts it up and good. Now the penetration starting to come for Carolina, and it's down to 10, 45-35.
Christian Jones has been the catalyst camping out down low inside and using that size advantage against Robert Neal.
He's got 9. Quick pass to the free throw line. Ingram being triple teamed. Now dribbles out of it. Elbow jumper. Rolls it in. Big shot there for Marcus Ingram, who's come on here in the second half. He's up to double digits. And the lead back to 12, 47-35.
His confidence level on the offensive end has really soared the last 5 or 10 games or so. Has become a real factor.
Grace leaves it off. Goolsby, deep corner jumper, no. Rebound, Christian Jones over Ingram. Now leaves it off. Love streaks in the lane, puts it off the glass, and one.
Wow, that was nasty.
The first bucket of the game for Artavius Love. And he'll head to the line to try and make this a single-digit margin.
Well, we've been talking about Artavius Love most of the night to absolutely no avail. He was scoreless to this point after sitting for 15 minutes in the first half. But my goodness, that was spectacular up and under. The crowd chanting overrated at him. I don't know what about on that particular play. That's about as good a move as you'll see at this level.
And Artavius is chanting along with him. A sophomore out of Atlanta, 6'5", 185, who can glide.
That was very, very impressive.
Troy Mix is in. Marcus Ingram is out because that is the 5th on Ingram. Free throw good. 3-point play converted for Love. It's 47-38.
Back to within single digits for the first time since about the 5-minute mark of the first half.
Antoine Robinson, Keont Jones back in for Piedmont. Holville back to Robinson, right corner. Swinging around Jones, left wing. Up top, Bishop. Over to Jones, left wing, steps into a 3. Too strong, rebound, skied for. Troy Mix was the only one who went after it. He's got it. And a reset here for PIU. Tamir Glenn now holding the basketball right at the Bruin logo in center court, barking out signals at the top. Bishop, right wing. To Mix, turnaround jumper, no good from the elbow, rolled around every part of the rim, but it's tracked down by Jones in the corner, another reset, and then he threw it away. It's deflected out of bounds on the near sideline. Goolsby got a paw on it.
Keont Jones only played about 2 minutes in that first half, coming in here in the second half and providing some good minutes off the bench in relief of Ingram, who fouled out like you mentioned.
That was a quick foul out there for Marcus Ingram. It kind of happened by surprise there, but another opportunity here for PIU in this possession, up 9, 11.5 to play. Jones baseline to Bishop. Bishop weaves to the top, deep 3, good! Big shot for Colton Bishop, his first points of the second half. He knocks down his 3rd triple. 12-point margin again for the Bruins, 50-38. Artavius Love weaves to the elbow, jumper, too strong. Troy Mix there for the board, he'll outlet. Antoine Robinson, 1-on-3, goes right to the bucket, off the glass, goaltend. Jalen Grace was the only man back closest to the bucket. Robinson said, I got you. Went right to the cup. Artavius Love blocked it off the window for the goaltend, and just like that, it's back to 14, 52-38. 10:58 to go here in Winston. Full timeout taken here by Carolina Christian. We'll take it 2. Back with more for the final 11 minutes on the Bruin Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
National University invites you to an evening of worship with the Vertical Worship Band. Vertical Worship in concert Friday, February 16th, 7 p.m. at Triad Baptist Church in Kernersville. An evening with Vertical Worship, Friday, February 16th, hosted by Piedmont International University. For tickets or more information, visit piedmontu.edu. Piedmont International.
Down to 9 just a couple of moments ago, but Piedmont on a quick 5-0 run has ballooned it back out to 14. 52-38 over Carolina Christian. Corey Glore, Dave Shook back with you here. 10:52 to play here in round 2 of this Twin City Classic. Left corner, Cunningham for Carolina Christian gets the 3-ball to drop. His second triple, 52-41. Bishop, deep 3 to answer at the top. No good, and the rebound rolls off of Jones on the baseline. It's saved, though, by Love, and here comes the Centurions to counter. Love right down the lane, puts it up, good, and the foul. Crowd wanted to travel. They're not going to get it as Artavius Love starting to show a little bit of life here.
One of the few times tonight that the Bruins have been slow to get back defensively in transition, and that left Antoine Robinson essentially one-on-one with Artavius Love, who has about 5 inches on Robinson and probably 15 or 20 pounds, and Love just took him right to the rim.
Love for the three-point play is good, and it is back to 8 very quickly here, 52-44. Colton Bishop has checked out after taking that ill-advised 3. Keontae Jones, who was a big spark just a couple moments ago, goes right to the cup, lays it in from the reverse, and gets the foul.
As spectacular as that play earlier on the and one by Artavius Love was, that one almost as good as that time Jones got into the lane, took the contact from behind, used his body as a shield essentially with his back to the basket, threw it over his shoulder, and somehow got that to go. That was awfully impressive also.
Christian Jones, his 3rd personal. That's 5 on Carolina Christian, 4 on Piedmont with 10:20 to go. Jones looks to make it an 11-point game. The junior out of Columbia, Tennessee, who has had a very impactful stint here in the second half in very limited time.
Yeah, again, didn't play much in the first half and wasn't really noticeable out there when he was out there. But in this second half, like you mentioned, he's had a real impact on this game.
With Marcus Ingram fouled out, it might be Jones for a good duration here the rest of the night.
Especially a little bit limited up front with Rashad Delgado in street clothes over there, and we haven't seen Justin Poitras tonight either.
Free throw good, 55-44. Love, Grace, Cunningham, Jones, and Goolsby, the 5 on the floor for Carolina Christian. Love with the basketball, goes to Jones, nearly poked out of his hands by Robinson. Jones able to get it. Robinson's jumping on him like a small terrier. Now Grace up top, leaves it off for Love with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Love, 28-foot 3, in and out. Rebound on the near side, tracked down by Glenn. He'll push, goes cross-court. Robinson on the break, stops, jumper, no good. On the left baseline, now here comes Carolina Christian. Grace is the only man back. The long lead-out pass is off of his hands and out of bounds. And Grace is hobbling as he came down awkwardly, jumping for that baseball pass down the floor, and he's going to have to come out.
Well, and Grace has been what looks like struggling with what looks like an ankle injury going back to the first half. If you remember, he came up a little bit limpy as well earlier, and you can see it out there at times defensively. He's not really been moving his feet as well and not being as willing to try and block shots. You wonder if that's been a long-term factor for him tonight. Now gets a seat on the bench.
55-44, Piedmont leads, 9.5 minutes to play. Tamir Glenn goes to the charity stripe, goes right down the lane, goes up, no good. His shot was deflected as he hit the deck. Now right corner 3 on the way, short off the rim by Nix as the shot clock didn't reset. Now a whistle on the loose ball. And what do we have here? It's going to be a foul on Carolina Christian. And by the look on Darius Goolsby's face, he can't believe it. What do we have here? It's going to be Piedmont basketball. No one called a foul to the scorer's table. Inbounds to Jones. His jumper from the right baseline is blocked by Jones, and it's picked up by Goolsby.
Put a foul on the board for Christian Jones, his 3rd.
Good catch there, partner. Empty trip there for PIU, approaching 9 minutes to play. Bruins lead by 11. Goolsby right corner. Breaks through the zone as the jumper from Jones from the right elbow is an air ball, but it goes over to Johnson. Now left side, Cunningham drills the triple.
It was completely accidental, but that's what you want against the zone defense. You get it inside and collapse the D and then kick it out, and you get better looks at 3 like that one for Cunningham.
55-47, 8:42 to play. Antoine Robinson pulls up his dribble at the top of the key, and Glenn will get it from the right wing to Carter. Extra pass, Robinson drives baseline, reverse layup, up and under, no good, too strong, spins right off the top of the cup. 8.5 to go. Lead is 8 for the Bruins. They have not trailed tonight. Artavius Love, deep 3. Front iron, back glass, no. And Love can't believe he didn't knock it down. Now here comes Jones on the break. He'll leave it off for Glenn, who will slow it down. Now Keontae Jones. Swing it left side, Robinson. Over to Carter, left wing. Carter will slow it down. Gets a screen from Mix. Will go bullet past Jones all alone. He misses the bunny, gets it up and good on the second attempt.
And Keontae Jones off the bench playing a real factor in this second half with the foul trouble for Ingram. And it's kind of supplanted Robert Neal's spot in the rotation in this second half because of how well he's played.
57-47, Cunningham left wing, drains another three, his third. Give him a modicum of space and he'll make you pay for it. It's down to 7, the closest it's been since halftime. Robinson to answer, floater in the lane, good. Antoine Robinson has 11, the third into double figures for Piedmont.
And after this was a very slow down, defensive, grinded out game in the first half and the early part of this half, now all of a sudden it's a wide open game.
Ball's poked away. Robinson all alone with Glenn Robinson. Skies and slams. 61-50. It's back to 11 and a blank. Artavius Love dribbled it right off his shin, and Robinson poked it clean for the easy jam. Love has it again. Crossover dribble goes right, elbow jumper, no good. Rebound, put back, no. Rebound still loose on the near side. Jones has it, knocks it off of Carolina Christian's Jonathan Cunningham and out of bounds at Karams.
Really nice job again by Keon Jones sticking with the play. Antoine Robinson down on the far side of the floor right now, maybe dealing with an ankle injury. As over to check on him is the training staff for the Bruins, as well as some members of the Carolina Christian side, as we've seen the sportsmanship aspect start to come back in here in the last few moments, which is good. But Robinson really struggling coming off the floor right now with a left ankle injury.
When Artavius Love pulled up for that shot, Robinson hit the deck hard. And one thing about this gym right now is that with the crowd getting bigger and getting noisier, it has gotten very warm and humid in here, and there's not a ton being done in terms of kind of drying off the court after certain periods. In fact, it hasn't really